Stop watching the same mainstream sequels and pay attention. You are completely missing out on pure hidden gold. These are the top underrated 2026 anime. We begin with number 6, My Ridiculous Reincarnation. This hilarious series follows an ordinary office worker who tragically dies and reincarnates into a fantasy realm, but not as a legendary hero or a powerful monster. Instead, he wakes up as a solitary, floating rib bone belonging to an ancient, dormant necromancer. To survive in a dangerous dungeon filled with aggressive adventurers and hungry slimes, he must creatively manipulate his limited skeletal form and assemble a new body piece by piece. It earns its spot here because it brilliantly revitalizes the oversaturated reincarnation genre by replacing overpowered tropes with sheer structural comedy and clever tactical survival mechanics. What makes this adaptation truly exceptional is its flawless execution of physical comedy without relying on facial expressions. The animation studio masters environmental storytelling, making a literal bone incredibly expressive through fluid movement and dynamic lighting. You will quickly find yourself genuinely invested in this severely calcium-deprived protagonist. It takes a wildly absurd premise and delivers consistent laughs alongside surprisingly intense combat sequences. This is the exact kind of bizarre creativity the industry needs. Number 5, Pardon the Intrusion, I'm Home. This beautifully grounded romance centers on a reclusive college student whose quiet life shatters when his estranged childhood friend abruptly moves into his cramped apartment. Having lost her own home, she forces her way into his daily routine. As they navigate the awkward realities of shared living, lingering resentments slowly transform into genuine understanding and profound emotional intimacy. It claims a spot on this list because it abandons exaggerated dramatic misunderstandings for authentic, mature character development, capturing the quiet struggles of early adulthood and the comforting warmth of finding home within another person instead of a mere place. The immediate standout feature here is the breathtakingly subtle direction. The studio uses lingering shots of mundane household chores to convey heavy emotional weight, making every silent glance deeply impactful. You rarely see pacing this confident in modern seasonal shows. It respects your intelligence, allowing you to interpret the underlying tension without relying on inner monologues. If you crave a deeply atmospheric slice of life that hits right in the feelings, this is absolutely essential. Number 4, Release That Witch. A modern mechanical engineer wakes up in the body of an incompetent prince within a medieval world where magic exists, but witches are brutally hunted. Using his advanced scientific knowledge, he rescues these condemned women and transforms their magical abilities into industrial power. Together, they trigger a massive technological revolution to build firearms, steam engines, and advanced artillery to defend his fragile territory from demonic beasts and rival kingdoms. It secures its position by brilliantly merging hardcore engineering principles with dark fantasy elements, completely redefining the standard kingdom-building genre through meticulous, satisfying, and highly logical narrative progression. Watching literal science obliterate traditional fantasy magic is incredibly satisfying. The animation shines during the complex manufacturing sequences, transforming mundane industrial production into a high-stakes visual spectacle. It is incredibly refreshing to see a smart protagonist who relies entirely on systemic organization rather than cheap cheat skills. Every single victory feels genuinely earned through proper planning. If you love deep world building paired with tactical warfare, do not ignore this hidden cinematic gem entirely. Number 3. Marriagetoxin Garo is an elite assassin belonging to a highly traditional clan of poison users. To prevent his sister from being forced into an arranged marriage to preserve their dark bloodline, he decides he must get married himself. The glaring problem is he has zero social skills and exclusively understands pure violence. He teams up with Kinosaki, a brilliant marriage swindler he was supposed to eliminate, who agrees to coach him through the chaotic modern dating scene. This absolute masterpiece makes the list by masterfully combining high-octane action choreography with genuinely hilarious romantic comedy and incredible character dynamics. The visual direction here is absolutely insane. Every fight scene flows with vivid colors and incredibly creative poison techniques that leave you speechless. Yet, the real hook is the bizarrely adorable chemistry between our two leads. You come expecting a brutal underworld thriller, but you stay because you desperately want this awkward assassin to find true love. It seamlessly balances gruesome underground battles with laugh-out-loud dating scenarios without ever losing its narrative momentum. Number 2. I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. Maki is a remarkably average high school boy who unexpectedly bonds with Umi, a girl universally acknowledged as the second most attractive student in their class. While the most popular girl commands constant attention, Umi prefers staying comfortably under the radar. Their relationship begins over shared hobbies and quiet after-school hangouts, slowly blossoming into something undeniably profound. This story earns its high rank by completely dodging toxic high school drama, offering instead a deeply refreshing, realistic portrayal of teenage connection that thrives on mutual respect, gentle banter, and quietly finding extraordinary joy in perfectly ordinary daily moments. The dialogue in this anime is simply phenomenal. It sounds exactly like actual teenagers talking, completely stripped of exaggerated anime tropes. The voice acting carries a subtle vulnerability that makes every small interaction feel monumental. It takes a lot of confidence to make a show this beautifully understated, but the studio absolutely nailed the execution. You will constantly catch yourself smiling at the screen because their growing affection feels so wonderfully genuine and completely earned. Number 1. Rooster Fighter. Humanity faces total annihilation from colossal, terrifying demons known as Kiju that abruptly descend upon cities to cause unimaginable destruction. When modern military forces fall incredibly easily, Earth finds its ultimate savior in the most absurd candidate imaginable: a wandering, solitary rooster. Driven by an intense desire to avenge his murdered sister, this fiercely proud bird travels the country, obliterating giant monsters with devastating vocal blasts and razor-sharp kicks. It takes the top spot by playing an incredibly ridiculous concept utterly straight, delivering an action-packed masterpiece that feels remarkably epic despite starring a standard farm bird. Do not let the purely comedic premise fool you. The animation quality rivaling major shonen blockbusters makes this show an absolute visual triumph. The fights are brutally kinetic, showcasing cinematic camera angles and flawlessly choreographed martial arts performed by a chicken. It commands your respect because the protagonist treats his bizarre journey with deadpan sincerity. This is wildly entertaining, undeniably unhinged, and easily the most memorable viewing experience you will have all year long, guaranteed. Those are the absolute best hidden gems of the year. Stop watching the same predictable tropes and completely expand your watch list right now. Which of these underrated masterpieces caught your eye first? Leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you soon.